Hello and welcome to the stream. My name is DAO Coates, as always. I have a couple changes for today, but we're just going to dive into a design pattern Tuesday. Oh, not design pattern. Sorry, it is system design Tuesday. Sorry, come here. My cat wants some cuddles. System design Tuesday. One-handed typing's always fun. Say hi. But we're gonna dive in. So last time we talked about Twitter. So we're going to go back into that. And we'll pull it up. So let me get that situated. And here we go. So the last time we talked about how Twitter is implemented, and we pretty much just got to the upload post function and how a big thing that we're going to need to worry about is scalability. So the first thing that's going to help with scalability is the fact we use a queue. So this queue here on the left, on the right for you guys, is how we are going to throttle basically. So when you post, you're not waiting for all, say you're 1 million followers, you're not going to be waiting for all 1 million followers to be alerted and to have their notifications popped and the post be ready and available in their feed. But instead, yours returned, and it's just an asynchronous thing of, oh yeah, I sent off my request to have my post created. So you get something really simple like that. So we can start diving more into what that looks like on the back end. And let me just put her down. She says hi to everyone. So let's get into what that looks like. So here we have post queue, and we'll go back to diagramming with it eventually. But I want to keep this short, so let's get into it. So now that we've uploaded the post, the user has returned an the API endpoint to the person posting the new tweet. It's returned to them, right? It queues a bunch of things, but it doesn't actually wait for those queue items to be popped. So it comes back, and then we can also talk about what this process post function is going to look like. So in an asynchronous thing, like we talked about, maybe a Lambda or a Azure function, you get a notification that it's inserts into the database, and we can talk about more what that schema looks like as we dive into it. But it's a pretty simple relational database where you have a post, and a post is connected to a user is and then there's a followers table, and a follower is connected to a followee user. So both of them are foreign keys to a user ID. So then you get really nice many to many relationships. So super simple structure like that will do the job here. And some other things that we'll get into eventually, probably not today, but we could do another deeper dive another time. I like to keep them high level, just so, you're just talking about them. Is you would put load balancers and CDNs and caches in front of all this backend stuff. So it's a post once uploaded, and it's becoming super popular, is going to be cached. So then people like, oh, what the top 1,000, 100,000, whatever the number is, are probably cached. So then you're not re-getting the media, you're not re-getting all the things every time you need to re-get that post. So yeah, there's a couple extra layers in there that are just beyond the back end architecture that we're going to talk about here. And hopefully everyone can hear me okay. So then that goes into the next part. So, I think we talked about enough about upload posts. Let's talk about the get feed. So this endpoint, in Twitter, I was doing some more research because I've actually never used Twitter. So, just very casually a couple times, but I don't use it on a daily basis. So, like we talked about, it's a read heavy system. Most people are just getting their feeds. And when you say get feeds, there's actually two. There's the following feed and then the for you feed. And the following feed is strictly posts from people you follow. A for you is an algorithmic approach that combines posts from people you follow, from followed, and recommended by the system. I can spell recommended better than that. Okay, so the following feed's gonna be pretty simple, right? So if we could dive more into this. Let me pull up this thing again. And so we have an upload post function, relational database with a post queue. Let's add another API endpoint. And this is really an endpoint, really. Depending on the architecture, you could also go a microservices approach where each one is its own separate function. But we could. That's for a later date. So this is going to be a get feed endpoint. And to be a little more explicit here, this one's going to take in a pagination token or a cursor, like current item or something, or maybe current page or whatever you want to do. Pagination could be implemented a couple different ways, but pagination token that allows you to say, I have this set of things. Don't give me the next set. Just give me the ones I want. So a pagination token, and then a feed type. And this is a post to, I don't know, feed. Pagination token, a feed type. So this is follower versus for you. Let's see, what else do you need? You need, that's probably good enough. So what this is then going to do is going to go to a service layer, but really, in the service layer, you're just going to call the database, and you're going to go again, so let's start with just the follower type. So this is going to hit endpoint with a pagination token. Let's do a little numbered list. You always love some numbered lists. So it's going to hit an endpoint with a pagination token, and then it's going to go against the user's ID, which connects to the foreign key of the follows. So we're going to want to index. So when we're talking a database structure here, super simply, over here in the back, let's do another post. But this time it's going to be a user table, super simple, basic ID, ID. So an ID, a name, which is a string, an email, so basic things like that, profile picture, blob URL, whatever. Doesn't really matter. But then you're gonna have nice things like a follower table. This one is going to have a unique ID as well. But then it's going to have a user ID, which is a foreign key to user, and then it's going to have a followee ID. So we can implement this in a couple different ways, but basically for every follower, so if I follow 4 people, I would have 4 records in the database. Try to get my camera. 4 records in the database, so I have that many followee IDs, right? So this is another foreign key to user, and let's see if we can make this a little nicer. And then this table is going to be indexed on user ID, so then you can, and indexed on followee ID, so you can really quickly find, do I follow you, and then consequently find all people that follow me. Right, so if I'm the followee ID, I want to be able to find that, right, in my list of followers, if that's a functionality. Can you actually view a list of followers? Probably, like an Instagram thing. But then this really quickly is going to have a user ID post, so then you can very quickly connect. So you're going to have a lot of joins. So I get a list of follower posts by joining my user to my list of followers, right? It's going to be a one-to-many. I'm only one user. I only need my user's followers. Then I get a list of followers, get all their posts, and then order them by daytime. And take a pagination token, do a skip take, becomes pretty quick, right? And as it's a read heavy system, we're going to be posting things new, and they should show up really quickly. But now for scalability reasons, we'll do a read replica, of course. So if I post something, are all my followers able to see immediately? No, probably not. But, you know, this is a read heavy system. I want to always be available for reads. So we'll take a little bit of latency in the writes and a little bit of latency in the read replicas, but I want to read quickly. So have the correct indexes. There you go. Now you can get your feed. Now the algorithmic way is going to be a little more interesting because I want a combination of my follower posts, but then I need to do sort of algorithmic ranking of what's recommended. So in the system, I'm most likely going to have some sort of aggregate where I say, what's the most popular post by metrics? So the metrics are likes, comments, retweets, or views, right? So each post now needs to be connected. Oh, there we go. Now each post probably needs to be connected to a corollary table about post analytics. Where now these are things like view count, big int, things like comments, comment count, and this is going to be just like there's going to be a comments table as well, right? So in that case, maybe post analytics is a view. Maybe we do a post analytics view, which selects how many comments there are. Because then there's also a comments table, and then a post is also going to have like an original post, which is the one you retweet from, right? So most retweeted or whatever. And you start to see how it's so complex and why you need so many moving pieces, right? Because the recommended algorithm, it's like, how do you get the most popular posts on Twitter? Do you do a query every time, or are you doing some sort of, you know, on demand? And in machine learning could definitely be a thing as well, right? Where it's based on the posts and currently how many you're doing, and for you, right? You're trying to target the advertiser. So that starts to get really hard and complex. So we'll leave that to the side for a little bit. Sorry, and I keep going back to this other one. Don't mean to do that. Sorry. This one. So, like we were saying, this one gets really complex really quickly. Howdy, Dread Breadcrumb. Welcome to the stream. Just going over our Twitter system design, talking about the get feed endpoint and how quickly it gets very complex for the for you feed, right? Because it's not just a simple join. It's you have to either gather their analytics to be able to make those informed decisions about the post you're showing or anything else. That's where I'm going to leave it today. I just wanted to quickly keep going through and keep having the conversation about what Twitter looks like. Next time we're going to dive into a different system design. Kind of talk high level about something else. We'll see what it looks like next week. So let me just commit this. Let me get this. Getting closer and closer. And actually, let's just do this as, there we go. Okay, there you go. Add get feed endpoint. Okay. So I use Draw.io. I use Visio when I am doing it for work. But that's like a work account. So I just Draw.io or Diagrams.net, is a great way to do it as well. This is a very rough UML. It's not such true UML at all. If you can tell, like my database tables are not actually linking. The posts are linked to users, followers are linked to users, post analytics are linked to posts. Posts also have hashtags to them. So if I was to do a more true UML, but at the beginning of this, I've just been going through and seeing what does a system design, initial pass through look like, when you're gathering requirements, talking just high level with the system, and then in a longer form interview, you'd be diving into each of these aspects more fully, right? We would flesh out first what relational database do we want to use, and then what does this general schema look like. So very rough, just kind of talking high level stuff, if that makes sense. But that aside, we are going to move in. Oh, save. Yep. Authorize. Go. That I did this last time. Maybe I didn't. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I really like Visio. I've also used, this is the one I used in college. Diagrams.net and okay, whatever. But lots of great ones for UML. UML's it's a good skill to use, especially in system design stuff. Where it's a really quick way to iterate on a project. Okay, but diving in to our main thing of today, we are going to go back into auth and get it working. So I regenerated the client because I accidentally leaked those secrets and did it again. There you go. No, that's the old one. Never mind. I need to replace the old one. Let me actually go and replace it now. So that, if you saw, is the Google client, which is fine. And that is just a Google web application with the correct URLs. But I'm regenerating, or I regenerated earlier, and I just need to delete that one. I just did deletions and then the copy paste. But what that's allowing us to do is then get the really nice Google splash screen. And should be HTTPS. So I'm just double checking on my valid URIs. Okay. Make sure I get these ones. And I was doing a little more investigation, make sure that we're getting close to having it. And then we'll do Microsoft's later. It's gonna be the exact same process, super easy. So we won't go over Microsoft's. I'll do that one on the back end, and then could show you if there was anything interesting. But it's gonna be setting up an Azure thing and setting up a client. So super simple in that way. Okay, so let me go back here. So we have our building configuration right here. And let me make sure. Okay. So let's see. We're getting where we're at. So, okay, sorry. Let me pull up Visual Studio Code. I think I have it open actually. So this is going to be, let me open folder. So I want to go down to the web. So last time we got down to where we actually have an auth endpoint. So we map our endpoints at the bottom. So we're using authentication and authorization. We've set up our identity breakpoint DB. So if you look up here in the DB, we're using an identity DB context with the type app user. Sorry, app user is our specific database entity that has the required information for an external provider. It also connects you to the players. And an app user should be tied to one player. Why is it tied to two? This should be player. Interesting. Okay, so that is. So I need to figure out where that is going. Who has one app user with one player has foreign key delete set null. User ID and a player. Yep. Cannot convert limited to type string because it's not a delegate type. Has foreign key and a type name foreign. So this is the player with one. I think I don't need to do that. On delete set null. On property has conversion. Let's look at the error. Let's make sure, because there should be some sort of reference to the player service, I would guess. Player service. No, and maybe not. And then looking through the token service, this is now how we're going to be interacting with our front end. We're going to do JWT tokens, and you have 15 minutes, but it's a refresh token of 7 days. So just make sure it's a valid token when you do it. Trying to think anything else here. Don't validate. I don't know why. I swear I've turned on wrap lines like 7 times in Visual Studio 2026. I swear. Not applied. Apply. Yes. Okay. So to validate, build claims, and I want to add the player profile complete. So when I go through the Angular, what's going to happen is I first register, and if it's the first time I'm registering, then I need to have completed my profile, which is basically saying, okay, there's a couple extra things in the player that aren't just strict app user things. So if you look at a player, they have things like names, which is easy to get, right? But a UST rating or an estimated player type, or you can initially set these, or you can just set them to 0. Fine. So you basically, the biggest one is to be a USTA rating, and that's it. If you don't know, in tennis, there's a specific way to rate yourself as a tennis player, and there is a where is this is interesting. Now this could be helpful as a data level. Now, it's the wrong angle. Interesting. Okay. Now this is interesting because now it's labeled data by rank. Interesting. Okay. I'm gonna have to use this for the AI. But that's not what's important today. We are going back to the API match endpoint, auth endpoint. Okay. So when we start this up, there it is. The seeder. Oh, I knew it'd break somewhere. Surprised it didn't. Seeder in the auth endpoint. Oh, now that is interesting because you need to have a player find or create user from provider. So externally, so let's do equals new. And what does this set your things to? So USTA rating. So now that is interesting. What do I want to do? Because when you first do it, it should then set is user profile complete. And this is just Google callback. So if it's a register, might not need it. Find or create user from provider. User manager. So if user is null, and that should return it with a, yeah. because it needs to associate the player by the user ID. So we need to pass in a player service. So we need to have a player service here. So what's this one coming from? Google callback. Yeah, okay. Oh. So Google callback needs to take in an player service, and then you find or create, pass in player service, because you need to have the ability to be able to look up a player. If the user is null, then this should be new. Else, if user is not null, then else. And I mean, is that going to, wait, is that going to get it already? Oh, I'm going to do all that for nothing. Because if it's, yeah, it should get it already. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. Oh, man. Don't need player service. Okay, so you're new, not complete. Need to fill out the remainder details to complete your player profile. Okay. So then that's fine. Failed to create user, generate a user, auth response, profile complete, profile complete. Why am I setting 2? Is user DTO based off of, what model is this based off of? The app user? So why does my authorization response? Let's find our references. And this is why you double check your AI code, everybody. Don't need that, because it's within the user. Cool. Cool. Okay. So I imagine we need to fix the users. Yep. This is going to be player new. Oh, come on. And what does a player have? Let's go to user DTO, player ID, player USTA rating, estimated player type. So let's just do USTA rating equals 35. Do a name. Does an app user not have a name? An identity user should have a name, correct? So then in this case, player should be then like display name. Sorry, I hit my mic with my water bottle. Yeah, so normalize username. Okay, so then this is going to be display name. Cool. Okay, player 1. That's really all I want to do for now. Just pop that in there. Autocomplete should start cooking on this. And player 5. And we can just make this easy by 55, 50, 45, 40, and 35. So they're middling tennis players, just like me. Okay, cool, nice, done. So then, yeah, start it up. Let's see where we're at with our authorization stuff. Because next part is going to be doing an Angular app to actually test it. And again, I'm batting a million. Not really. So let's start doing some auth stuff here. So let's look up, oh, come on. Angular OAuth 2 JWT to C#. Because I want to say Yep, create, validate, protected endpoint, Angular OAuth 2. That's the one I want. That's the one I want. Yep, providers, class, configure to automatically include in the authorization headers, auth interceptor. Yep, and we're going to pull this access token. That's great. Angular auth threats. Perfect. So let's go here. OpenID certified, code samples, beautiful. We'll just pull from those. So I'm going to paste this in. This is going to be the quick start for the day. Just doing this, getting it working. This without a login click. Nope. We want this one. Popular using pop-up, Azure, open, configuration. Using OAuth, Center 4. With iframe renew, that's not bad. Implicit with silent renew. Yeah, no, I don't want that one. Code flow. Silent renew within a project that uses standalone API. Logs in without a login click. No. Pop-up OpenID code flow. That's probably the one I want. Nope, don't need you. Source, probably don't need anything there. Environments, environment prod, production true, production false, nope. Okay. So app routing doesn't have anything. The OIDC from Angular. Okay, so that's what that's gonna be. And let's just make sure. ng add. So Docker should be started. So now this should be happy. Let's just make sure that makes sense. Yes, beautiful. Did I get 730? I don't think I actually got that this right. So let me make sure that I did on the other screen. Edit my client. No, it was 7090 and it's actually 730. Google callback. It's auth / Google / callback. Yep, looking good. And I'm just doing the authorized redirect URLs. And then authorized JavaScript origins is 3000 because that's where my local development is going to be, is HTTP 3000 for my breakpoint. So click in. So right now I have a sign in button. And I want to open a new tab. So then there's no screen to be able to click. I could also do a tab where then you select, you know, what you sign in as. And I guess to be able to select a provider, that's probably pretty nice. I could also do it as a modal. Let's maybe do just the normal, straight up go to a page, click sign in or register. Either way, it's the same code flow, so it's just going to be sign in with an external provider. I'm not going to give them the option to sign in locally. I don't really want to handle that. So then let's go there. Let's start there. So let's pull this to the side. Let's pull you to the side. We're gonna be in VS Code today a lot. So let's ng add. Should be in the right directory. Copy. Goes. Yes, please. npm error. Didn't like it. Okay. Then let's go with an older version. Just npm install it, and it should get the one that is relevant. Okay. At what versions do you have here? Versions 1802. Oh, yes. 1802. Wow. Could not resolve while resolving Tailwind. could not resolve here dependency Angular dev kit. I mean, surely it's fine right now, right? Interesting. Okay. So what did I do? It didn't like this Tailwind CSS. I mean, that's going to be kind of annoying, but we can get rid of... Yeah, let's look at what this says. Error resolving, found Tailwind CSS from the project, could not resolve dependency. Interesting, okay. Fix the upstream dependency conflict. Yeah, that's what I want to do. So get rid of you, get rid of you and you. I mean, let's get rid of Tailwind, I guess, in general. We'll have to come back to you because we'll need to figure out something for our styles. I mean, MATLAB has a lot, so maybe it's okay. Yeah, that should be new major version of NPM. Okay, so let's download this last thing. Let's go npm install. Wow. Oh, and now I need to do add 1802. Should work. Nice. Okay, so let's go there. So the code samples. So in your auth module, this module some files, and I didn't do that because it was being annoying. So what we have here, let's close all this out. Let's go to our app.config. Let's go to our app.routes. Let's go to our app.component, because all of this is going to be behind the login. And let's go open this one as well. So because we have a download if signed in view profile, if signed in, this is at the top here. So what I want to do, yeah, this is pretty good. ng on init, this dot that. Private read only, boom, boom. Let's get you hold on in there. Inject, I need you for the core. Okay. And now this, yeah, let's import you as well. Is authenticated user data, access token, ID token, config token equals login response. So then I need to log in, log out. Okay. So using the access token is a get access token.subscribe. So is signed in now becomes if is authenticated, this dot sign in. And let's get rid of that. And you is going to be, wow, what I want to do is actually on this dot sign in, I want to do this stuff. Because I don't want to just sign in immediately. I want you to force that. ID token and then user data, because from the JWT, one of the claims should be the ID. So this player ID equals user. Sure, we can try that. that's signed in. And let's make this a signal, because I imagine this is going to be annoying about that. Have component sign in, router link, player ID, and let's make both of those a signal. Well, maybe it's okay. Yeah, hi, Sir Elfman. At the beginning of my Tuesday streams, we go over a system design question. So I can kind of a practice style interview. So today we were talking about Twitter, and the get feed endpoint and what that would look like. What are some of the aspects you need? So it's responsive for the user. It's a read-only thing. So that, and then likewise, then we dive into what we're going to be coding for the day. And then on Thursdays, we do design patterns. So we talk about design pattern, then we dive in. And we do that because I want to get better at being able to talk around those kind of things. But also, I feel like for me, being able to know the correct words and just kind of understand at a high level the concepts is a big part in learning software development. So yeah, great question. Great question. Does that make sense? That makes sense, that answer. But back here, we're getting... So this is going to be pulling the correct claims, making sure. And then this is probably going to be redirecting you to an auth page. They want in a systems. So yeah, interesting question. So in a system design interview, they are trying to basically figure out, do you know enough about systems to be able to talk through a complex system? So they would present you with, like, a typical one is design Spotify or design Twitter. So Twitter is the one we're doing. So knowing all the different functionality components that go into something as big as Twitter is a really important thing, right? So if you were, just very simply to design an API with a front end and then a database, and that was it for Twitter, it'd be way too slow for millions of users. So, oh yeah, no worries. Yeah, it's typically like a back end thing. So what they're going for, let me just pull up this. So once it loads, so if you were to look at a very simple website, right, where it's just a back end talking to a front end, and then the back end maybe is talking to a database, right? If you were to say, okay, now 7 million users use this website, the performance would be horrible, especially if it's like a read heavy system like Twitter, right? Because now 1 million users are all trying to access the exact same data from the database, and you're getting locks. So what system design interviews are trying to get the developer to do, and it's a great way for like architect level positions to like kind of force them to talk about what they know, is like, how many layers do you actually put between here and here? How many layers do you put between here and here? Right? Because yeah, exactly. The two hardest things in software development are memory caches, or cache invalidation, and naming things. So yeah, exactly. Toss in a memory cache. That's one of the really great points. So that was one thing we were talking about later on in the post feeds or in the get feeds is, if you have a popular tweet, put in a cache. Don't re-render and get the images again. Have that available to the client. So that's kind of the purpose of a system design interview. And it's, like I was saying, it's just a great way for me to be able to start talking about these things. So, force me to be like, okay, so when you do a post, right? So that we talked about a post upload last time. And I can actually, where did that go? I actually uploaded that to YouTube, kind of what that looks like. And what it was, but we talked about how when you post something, especially someone that's a very popular person on Twitter, how can the system go and alert all their followers that a new post dropped? Like if they have push notifications on, or in the sense of when I go to get a new feed, am I, as the user that just wrote this tweet, going to sit there waiting for everyone's tables to get updated so that they can then have their feed? No. You'll use an asynchronous queue. So I say, I upload the post, and I'm going to request some asynchronous jobs to be done in the background, but then I get it back and say, oh, posted done, great. And then, a couple seconds later, then everyone can see it online. Yeah, that was what we were talking about last time. Great questions, though. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Sorry, I even as something that's what's an async queue? Yeah, so in software development, there's an idea of a data structure called a queue. It's first in, first out. It's a FIFO queue. Yeah. So the way it's here, let me exactly. So you put things on the queue, but you put them in order. So put them on first position, second position, and then something else comes and consumes the task, but starting at the front. So if you're at the front of the line, you're going to be addressed first. And when and specifically when I'm talking about this sort of thing here, this post queue is I'm putting on my request for my post onto a service bus queue or something similar that is then held like in a database or a list. And the reason it's async is because I do that and then I walk away. I don't stay waiting to say, oh, is the queue done? Is the queue done? Is the queue done? I say I'm going to put it on the queue, and the types of queues software developers use for these kind of scenarios are resilient ones. They're called like resilient queues or reliable messaging queues. So if I'm going to give you my post, you are going to do something with it, whether that's air it and then send it back to me, or be able to deliver it to whoever is subscribed to it. Yeah, so that async queue is it's an asynchronous operation using a queue, to be clear. Okay. Hopefully that answers those questions. And those are great questions, right? Those are the types of things that you need to. Yeah, so the way a reliable queue is architected can be all over the place. So if the queue server dies, it's an interesting way to put it, because a queue server implies that it's like another API, but it can be architected a bunch of different ways. But so a really old technology called BizTalk is a messaging queue, and the way it does it is it stores it to a database, actually. So if the server was to die, it's geo-replicated so that it's, the database is across multiple things, so there's fault tolerance in terms of, if one server goes down. Now, if all of them went down, reliable, quote unquote, is still only. Yeah, exactly. Well, the only way to solve a cache is by throwing another cache in it. So yeah, we're always solving things with extra databases. Or you just turn the knobs in Azure or AWS to 11 and just keep spending more money. It's a great way to do it as well. Great questions, though. Appreciate you checking me on that and making sure that it makes sense. But here, let's go back here. Do we need to redirect to some sort of unauthorized page? I'm not sure what this one actually is going to return if it's not authenticated. Unauth. Okay. So now we're signed in. Now we use the access token, and that's going to be in the HTTP headers. So build in an interceptor token. Yeah, so let's go to the auth interceptor, because that should be here. This is authenticated.subscribe. So the way they're doing this is configuration. What is this configuration value doing? Nothing here. User data is going to the user service. The OIDIC. log in with pop-up. That's definitely what I want. Not because I'm just checking auth. So on init, I check it. But I actually need to log in. Yeah, okay. Interesting. Log in. So if I just replace that with this, authorize with pop-up, and then I subscribe to the login response, which is that. And then open window, force reset, and log out. So this is really more of a... It is, yeah. So for Angular, we are doing the ODIC library, Angular OAuth, OIDIC, because in the back end, for context, we've created an identity server that's mapping external providers to my application's identity. So this identity has an app user. This app user is my identity user for C#. So C# has an idea of EF core identity. And I've created a add an identity server here. So with these roles, I require a unique email with this identity framework store. So I have a backing database that's going to store the app roles and all that, the default tokens. And then here at this level, where's Google services.add? Add Google. So right now we just have Google auth. So we have a Google client in the cloud that eventually, cross my fingers, will then get able to allow the Angular app to log in. So that's where we're at. Okay. So back here, let's go back here as well. So the app component, OIDIC, log off, subscribe, and let's actually do something with this result. This let's sign in as false, player ID is null. And I probably need some sort of auth guard as well. So let's go pull the auth guard module, and I don't want to do a module. So let's do modern day Angular 18 auth guard. Generate guard. Let's see where are we at. Okay, so CD source, I think it's app, and we have core, CD core. Okay, and then let's ng generate guard, and then let's go guards auth guard, auth. Yeah, auth is probably fine. Can activate, can deactivate, can match. So I think it's can activate. Let's see, can activate child. Can access the route most commonly used for. This is useful when you want to protect. In other words, can act if there's. Okay. Space to select. Okay. Guard TS. I don't. And we'll do a test for our auth guard. That's fine. Okay, so can activate route. Yep, and then let's inject in the auth service. So we need to create an auth service to hold state for us. So let's do that. Do we have services? So ng generate service services auth. And don't need a spec for this one because this is gonna be a pretty simple pass through. So we're gonna start pulling some of these things from the app component to the auth service, and we'll have a public signal of user info or null. And do I have a user info? No, so I need to create a user info. So for now, it's just gonna be a bool for, public is signed in of type Boolean, and get core. Okay, so then we want to do some of these things here. So we're going to pull this library out. Pull the ODIC. Yep. And then let's make a public method to log in. I'll just pull these. And is signed in. So then this is going to be equal to dot set to null. And this dot player ID. So I can have, so he's signed in. I probably actually want signed in player ID. Hi, this is Luca. Hi, buddy. Now you want to be involved too, huh? Are you good at Angular, buddy? You gotta go back. So is signed in player ID, null, set. Yep. Okay. And then the login method is actually going to be this thing down here, where this dot player ID is dot set and signed in player ID dot set. And I want you. Yes, Luca is the cutest. Little orange cat. He's definitely an orange cat though. Let's see. So then we get sign in player, login response. Need to import that. Don't have an access token currently used. And that's where the auth guard is going to come in, because now we need probably more things, because we're going to have a signed in access token. Let's go here. Let's see. Yeah, no, that's that is tough. But it's always fun. I really liked Angular, actually. I think a lot of people it's supposed to be very minimal backend. Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I actually started with C++. That was C++. That was my first language I learned. But more recently I learned Angular. I started with Vue, and I really like both. I find that Angular forces me to do better coding, which is nice. So yeah, I kind of like it. What kind of things do you like doing in C++? Is it, obviously it's low level, some sort of, yeah. I like React as well. Later on so the kind of the overall thing, stepping back a little bit, the whole point of this project is to kind of showcase quick start to enterprise stuff, show the fully implemented applications and how you do things like logging and auth and kind of the more boring things that, quick starts and other repositories skip over. So we have an API that's going to be C# front end that's going to be Angular, and then later on we'll do a native application that'll be React Native, actually. And React, I've never done React Native, so I'm excited to learn that. I'm also using Aspire, which I've never used before, but it was pretty slick to set up. There was a little bit of jerry rigging it because I'm using an npm app for an Angular solution, but I mean it's pretty slick with the way it injects the API URL, and you don't need to deal with file replacements or anything like that. It's just C#, just app settings it up, which is nice. Okay, so we are signed in, set the user data, and this will come back. We'll need to actually change this to be a real object of some sort. So not just a sign in player ID, but having the player ID plus the access token plus other things. But for now, we can get away with that because then pull the auth guard. We want to inject this auth service. And I want to say I called it the auth service. Yep, perfect. Inject you. Inject you. So now we want to return auth service that signed in is true. Is signed in, sign in player ID. Oh, sign in player ID is not equal to null. Yep. And that's pretty much it. So then let's go to the app config or app.routes. And I think I already have you open. And now we want to add the guard. So can activate is the auth guard. So what this is saying is I can't go to this route, so profile/player ID, without the auth guard, which makes sense, right? You don't have a player profile if you don't have a auth guard. And in that sense, we can now change this to profile. Let's go to app component, sign in. And I deleted that, so that still needs to have a method. I guess I could change this, so let's change this. Let's inject the auth service. Okay, let's not jump on my desk, please. Let's make it protected. Auth service. Hi, buddy. What's wrong? It's not food time. My cats eat at 7, so they really like eating at 7. Not a minute late. Okay, so let's get rid of you. Get rid of you. And let's pull this auth service out to here where we go auth service.sign in. Log in now. And then if signed in. And I also want to have you mat list items. So then this should be showing your name. So we'll want to change that. But for now, this is where we go profile. And the other side of it is, oh, the profile ID. Profile TS, no longer profile. Hi, buddy. Can we not? Say hi to the camera. Hi, buddy. I know, it's so close to food time. And this can now be, I mean, technically I could pass it in either way. Here I can now get it from the auth service. Auth service, inject, yep. Yep, sign in player ID, and then you just pop that. Because we know if you're there, it has to be there. And then, so let's go here. So now we have this. I think I want to pull my profile. So from up here, I have an app user. And I'm going to get a on auth responses. Let's pull you. Ow, buddy. And let's go models, DTOs, new file. Let's call this the, and I guess you're not a DTO. You are a responses. Okay, come here. Everyone down. Everyone down. What is this named? Authorization response. Responses, new file. Authorization.response.ts. Okay, and then. Yep, that's fine. Public, yep. And let's generate TypeScript. C# TypeScript. Okay, and then the user DTO needs to be created. So then let's go new file user.dto.ts. Go here, go here. TypeScript, and then the OAuth provider. This is going to be an enum, right? I believe so. Yeah, okay, super simple. Let's go models, enums, player type, new file. Auth provider.enum.typescript. C# TypeScript, and then I probably want to rename this one .enum.typescript just to keep it consistent. Well, you come on. You're better than this. Yes. Update import. Beautiful. So then we have an external provider. You have a user DTO authorization response. Pull you in. Let's pull you back over. So then here on the auth guard, sign in player is not null. That's fine. But we can probably go back to the auth service. And let's set. So now this is really going to be user info. And you're going to be a user auth response, right? Authorization response, because you have an access token, a refresh token expires at access token, ID token, config ID. It does most of the things, right? Private read-only access token, we'll do that. Set user info. You want to be a user DTO, probably. User.set. It's an auth response. I'm not sure if that ever comes in. I need to investigate this. This needs to be a to-do. So let's just set user data. Sure. Player profile. This dot user info dot player ID. Okay, now let's go home. What is this home component doing? Homepage. Got it. App to TS, auth service, HTML. So then here we can now change this to be auth service dot user info. And what is this? App signed in. Nope. No. Player profile. Let's get rid of you too. Don't need you anyways. This is if auth service dot user info is not null, then user info dot name. Okay. And that clicks to the profile. So let's see. So what this is doing, user is not null, player ID, user info. How is this null? Player ID, user DTO should be user DTO. This should be a Y. Find all references. Oh, go to the actual one. Find all references. Player ID is greater than 0. Okay, that's fine by me. Okay, what? Where did this come from? Auth endpoint int try parse. Let's make that an actual thing. If not int try parse, throw new invalid. I have an exception that I created, right? Return. Oh no, I can just return results dot bad request. Beautiful. Okay, let's restart this up. Let's see where we're at currently with the Angular application. And I think there's some more wiring up we need to do because I didn't do anything with the app. So I'm unsure of what that looks like. But who knows? Who knows? Who knows? The web app finished, huh? Module not found. Or Tailwind. Oh, yeah, I got rid of Tailwind. Didn't actually do it. What is wrong with you? Nothing. Right? What's wrong? Oh, if signed in. If auth.service.user info is not null. Okay. Tailwind. Host scissors. Now I gotta look for post scissor. Not in package lock. Okay, I think we're okay. Go here, let's go here, let's go here, and let's go here. Go console resources. And start them on up. Please don't die on me. She's beauty, she's grace. No provider. Okay, so something's wrong with my Angular. It's fine. I expected that to be happening. Close all. Close all. Let's look at this Angular setup. So they have it's an auth module. I want to see the modern way to do that because I don't want a module. I don't like modules. Auth config modules. App modules. Don't want to do that. Still don't want to do that. App components, yes. So is there a way for me to look at? Oh, app.config probably need to do this. So provide HTTP client. So I need to do providers, HTTP interceptor, multi-true. There we go. Auth interceptor, add import, update. Yep. Yep. Okay. And then you can call by getting it on the service, and then you can use it in the HTTP headers. You can then use the built-in scepter. Current version is version 18. So I'm surprised that it's doing it this way still. That's very interesting. Okay, well, we can do an auth module, I guess. I'm just surprised that we're doing it that way. Okay, so if we do core app, new file, app.module.ts, throw this crap in there. App routing module, app auth config module, don't need you. Don't think so. Browser module, app routing module. So browser module should be a thing. Imports, okay, that's probably why. So then let's go here, let's go auth config. New file, auth-config.module.ts. Authority. So that's going to be my website because I'm the one doing it. Client ID, scope, response type, silent renew, auto, user refresh token, true, renew time before expiring seconds, log level, none, debug, environment production. So the authority is going to be my website, or Google. No, because I'm the one, right? So that needs to be, this field is required. Now this is interesting because I don't feel like I need that. Is that the right way to do it? So, okay, so let's see. npm install, save, configure the OAuth module with the details, including the endpoint, client ID, and scope. Implement a login component where users provide credentials. So, let me get rid of this. Let's ask Mr. Copilot what he would think. Let's open a folder. Let's open back a bit. Select. Oh. Let's go one more deep. Repos. Breakpoint. So, yeah. I have some of the necessary structure for my front end. Now connect to the C# backend using Google as the auth provider. Please review current work, and then let's detail what needs to still be done to have my Angular app log in by opening a new tab with the selected provider and then redirecting to the profile page. Okay. So hopefully that all makes sense. I've had using the Google as the auth provider. Please review the current work and then let's detail what needs to be done. Couple typos there. All good. Okay. Waiting on that. Optimizing tool selection. We can go stop this. We don't really need that to be on. What else can we do while that's churning? So let's make sure our authorization stuff makes sense. So let's keep going through this auth. Yeah. Problem is I don't know what Google's going to respond with us. So I need to see that. So I'll review your work and respond to handle Google OAuth as with a new tab. Now check the Angular specific authentication files. Check the ODIC. Let me see if there's any auth. Now let me see the pages directory to see what's already built. I have the pages. I don't. Oh, employee profile. Hey, current implementation. Based on my analysis, it still needs to be done. Complete OAuth. Google front end. Basic project structure with pure UI. OIDSE. Basic auth with login and logout methods. Route. Guard with OAuth guard. Profile page component. TypeScript models matching backend ETOs. But not configured. Do you need in-app config? No HTTP service to call your C# backend. Current auth service expects OIDSE, but your backend returns custom JWT token format. Token management, no JWT token storage retrieval, no HTTP interceptor configured for adding bearer tokens into refresh logic, login flow. We need to integrate with your custom Google OAuth endpoints. So we need to create an API service. This should be the auth service, I thought. So get current user, auth endpoints, refresh token, get Google auth. So what does auth service do? user set, create OAuth pop, because I was just going against a setup auth server as opposed to calling my specific endpoints. Create tokens, set tokens, BP, refresh token, breakpoint, refresh token, breakpoint, token expiry, clear tokens, has valid token. That makes sense. I knew I would have to write some sort of token service there. If the OIDIC client doesn't do it. So then what is the point of the OIDC library? What is that doing for me? Update backend to handle pop-up response. The backend needs to return a JavaScript server that communicates with the parent window instead of JSON. Let me update the Google callback. No. Ooh, I don't know if that's correct. You changed a lot of files there, big dog. I don't think this is correct. Leave, and also let me check instruction files. Copilot guide. Do I not have GitHub workflows? Okay. Surprised I don't have. Configure modes. Chat. So chat, configure chat modes, new prompt file. Instructions, configure instructions, instruction files, user. Let's do a new one and let's do Angular. Oh no, I thought I did have this inside of. Oh, did I do that inside of the other one? Inside of prompting? I did. Okay, let's go. Prompting. GitHub prompts. And maybe I didn't. Okay, that is something to do as well. Let's throw an issue up for that. Breakpoint. Throw a new issue up for create Angular and create Angular instruction file. Copilot. Decide on repo. Decide on repo standards and add instruction file outlining best Angular practices for the front end. Labels, let's do AI work. Create more. Create, decide on and best C#. Practices for the backend, including API, services, models, Azure functions, and then functions. Decide on repo standards and add instruction. Sorry. Create C# instruction file for Copilot. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. I believe should burn any response JSON, any HTML to my endpoint. That feels wrong. Once you are in the redirect flow, the OAuth 2 client should handle all of that. Yeah, that seems crazy. Exchange for tokens, create an update. They redirect to an Angular app with the appropriate parameters. Yeah, isn't that what I said the first time? That's okay. So, again, not correct. I have a redirect. This is Aspire. Now to create an Angular route. So, redirect to Angular app with tokens as URL parameters for pop-up flow. The front end will extract these and close the pop-up. I might need to undo all this. Like I don't know anything that it's doing here. The token service makes sense. I need to do a token service. That's fine. I was gonna throw it over a cache service and do a local storage. Maybe I know I'm in over my head here on the ID, but it doesn't seem like it should be this complicated. Oh, a pop-up service again. Why am I the one doing this? This one makes sense because I need to have the token in it. But I don't think of it at work nowadays. But anyway, yeah, exactly. So yeah, oof. Yeah, this is not. Let me add the configuration. All right, whatever. You've gone past your prime. You're washed. Washed. Don't need you. Let's not initialize auth. Where is this? That makes sense, actually. Because... well, pop-up service, no, definitely not you. You aren't staying around, buddy. Initialize auth. Undo you. Undo a token request. Skip auth header for login requests. I'll probably want to create a map for that so I can do that myself. Refresh token. Yeah, because it should be the same endpoint based on provider. Retry individual request with new request. Refresh failed. See that. This makes sense. I think I need to restructure my auth endpoints. If I go Google callback, I don't think I want this to be mapped like that because I think it needs to be provider agnostic. So then all callbacks go through that, and I just have a provider name there. Okay. Yeah, I might have to kill this. Definitely don't need you. I have an auth service. So just call it the auth service. Token service, definitely need you. Access token, private read only, public. Okay, let's keep this. This is fine. Auth token, most of this is fine. Yeah, most of that's actually pretty good. This one, did you just get rid of my with interceptors? Okay, that is probably the right way to do it, actually. Core interceptors. Did you get rid of all my to-dos? Nope, okay, that's not bad, actually. Let's see what else. App settings, no, you are just flat wrong. Nope. Auth routes, auth callback component. Do I need to have this? Get user info, store tokens, check if there's a pop-up window. If window opener, auth success, close it. No, this should be OID. I see doing it. Perhaps I need to do it, I suppose, but I didn't think I did. Auth guard. Yeah, that's fine. Auth callback. Oh, and I might have undone a different one, and you definitely don't. Okay. Don't need you anymore. This is going to be an auth service. Yep, auth service, change you. Throw you in there. Response.set tokens.refresh token. And I'll need to do some extra things there. Response access token. So that's gonna call there. That's fine. Okay, let's look. Let's look and see. They have the Angular to C# identity. Yeah, so I'll have to do some offline. I thought it was gonna be more simple than that because I've done it with Azure AD and it was the library did everything for me. But if I'm not getting the library to handle everything, then why would I use it? Angular OAuth identity library, because that's the one I was using. Basic knowledge, yep. Yeah, you can say what I say about my knowledge, but see, this is much more simple because it's handling the auth service. I'm not logging in that way. Protecting routes, auth guard, setting up routing, create dashboard component, auth service needs to have it. That's fine. Full code summary. Where's the so where does it actually do? Let's go this slower. So OAuth install. Ooh, that's it. OAuth 0 is a helper library designed to simple particular function with auth 0. So what is just Angular JWT library? Like I shouldn't need to write this. This code should be simplifies the web process. It provides an HTTP instead typically yeah, it offers access to the header. Nice. Good. It allows customization, configuration, import module into map up module, and configure it. You need to provide a token getter to specify how the library from local storage and option to find allowed domains. Use so much configured will automatically attach. You can use the JWT service. Okay, so I have some reading to do because I clearly not smart enough to do it myself. But that is unfortunate. But we can read through it together. I mean, I got time, so. But I'll be back. I'm gonna go feed my cats. Back. So where we were, was getting a little lost in the sauce on this Angular 2 identity server backend with multiple layers of abstraction there. Or at least I was behind it. So super simple. Let's just pull a notepad. Start writing notes of what we need. So the next time we can get back to it. And I'll probably do a lot of it myself because I feel like an idiot just sitting here doing all stuff. So I'll maybe make an actual plan, get a working demo app, and then take the demo app, get it working here. So that's probably what's next for us in the next 20 minutes, but it's just gonna be what we're doing. So a login page, great. So we have the Angular app, we have the C# app. So the Angular app has a login page. Select your provider you want to log in with. So then why use a separately host? Log in directly in our single page application. Okay, so JWT, let's start how JWT, so we have, that's fine. JWT, because yep, you might be seeing what does JSON look like. The subproperty, the login page. Authentication starts the login page. So it can be hosted either in our domain or a third-party domain. In an enterprise scenario, the login page is often hosted as a separate server, which is part of the company-wide single sign-on solution. The public internet, the login page might also be hosted by such as auth. You're available directly in our single-page application, either login screen, mount, or modal. A separately hosted login page is improving security-wise because this place, the password is never directly handled by our application or the code in the first place. So we're not doing any passwords. Is that a thing? I keep seeing this as a passwordless external provider to C# identity. So, I mean, based on this, like, you secret manager store tokens assigned. Yeah, that's fine. When you register with an external, you don't have a password. Register with the app. This alleviates you from creating or remembering a password for the site, but also makes you completely dependent on the external. So I don't have to go out of my way to optionally set it. This is just how it's done. Okay, that's how I run it. I feel like I'm going crazy. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Okay. Separately hosted login page can have minimal JavaScript or none at all. It could be the style to be sure, but still, logging in a user via a login screen outside of our application is still a viable and commonly used application. But I'm not doing it. So, could also have a Razor page do it for me. Is that crazy? I mean, that's how they generally do them. But then how do you still get, how do you get the further following requests? Because the rest of it is Angular. So I have to have, whether we use an application or a host with the server logic that handles the login post request through the same. The goal in both cases is to validate the password established session. If the password is correct, the server will issue a bearer token saying the bearer of this token is the user with the technical ID and the session is valid for the next 2 hours. Yes, beautiful. There's a lot going on in this code, so let's break it down. Login route is validated, so that's fine. So this is their node backend. This is their backend. So this is backend stuff. So you get a saved user. Create your subject, log in, log out. I don't want to post it. If user configure JWT interceptor, this makes sense. I know I need to do this. Handle token authorization. Use the JWT token to handle token. Nice. The token getter. Token getter. JSON parse. No. Allowed domains. Disallowed routes. Function to get the token. Allowed domains. Protect routes with the auth. And what's can activate. Private auth service. Current user value. If current user value. User not authenticated, they'll be redirected to the login page. That makes sense. I'm doing that. Apply the auth guard to specific routes. The dashboard route. User logs in the token. So, but in this auth, so who calls? So an auth service. So this redirects you to login. The login then calls auth service to log you in. So that makes more sense. Okay, wait. I might be crazy. I might be crazy. But I think I know what I'm doing now. Let's see if we can bust out some code. Okay, so here is this running still? No, doesn't matter. Okay, up routes. So auth guard, let's see what this is. Auth guard is authenticated. Auth service is authenticated. Great. Let's go to this auth service. User info is authenticated. So get rid of this. Package JSON. Package JSON. Get rid. Where is it? You die. Okay. Auth guard is authenticated. This should be a Boolean. Make it simple. Public is authenticated. Signal Boolean false. Okay. So then you die. Wait, you find me of any of your friends. Not die. Okay. So then you private read only, and then let's pull another service up. Token service, player service, HTTP, need you. Okay. Auth service, private HTTP. Okay, and then you just call with the login provider. Now we pick an ODIC provider. So this is login provider. And this is a provider. OAuth provider. O. And then we'll just do a little switcheroony. Just break. And I'm not doing that, so let's do let request endpoint string request endpoint equals API. So let's do pop. Let's do Google/auth, and let's just do /Google. Because then we have here, we have this .http .get, and then what are we doing here? We're doing a post, a map a get, a Google login. What does this return? An I result. So let's just do a get. API off. Okay, so then this should cause things to happen. So then let's just do console.log login response. Okay. And log out, same thing. Just could be an API request. I think that's the error that was having. So then here maybe Log off is going to be interesting. It's just going to be clear the cache and call it a day. Okay, auth token and token service. Yep, auth token, refresh token. So refresh token is refresh token. It's a post, and I get a refresh token post. So it just passes up that. Okay, easy enough. Refresh token with a refresh token. And then on the response, what does it send down? Sends down an iResult. Results.ok. New. So I need to do some sort of response object. Responses. Class. Refresh token response. Pull you off to the side. You're a public. And access token, refresh token, author expires at, so this. And you are just of that. Get rid of that. Boom, boom, boom. Auth endpoint. Let's pull you. Let's make some front end models. Responses. Authorization response, new file, refresh token dot response dot ts. Configure chat, and then go here, and then go here, here. This now becomes C# to TypeScript and fix all. Okay. Beautiful. So then the auth service, let's do public refresh token response, API auth refresh, and you need to return a task of result, iResult of type refresh token response. And I think it's a result. Okay. Return new, done. And that's why, because I need to have result, I guess. And you probably need to be explicitly typed. Okay. So we're getting closer, I believe. Is now in the auth token, you refresh, boom, boom, boom. Sure. Let's try it out. No, I don't like that. Player null. Okay. App user. Find or. Is that really that hard? Come on. Okay. Let's see it. Okay, so I should come in. Nothing should be signed in. Right? Right. Exactly. Exactly. And if it doesn't, then I'll have some off-screen stuff to do. Then I'll show you guys. I'll probably just do a sample app with Angular and stuff, make it really simple for myself. and I'll throw that up in the repos on GitHub. You know, sample Angular auth with an Aspire app. So I can do that pretty quick. Looks like, let's see, who's not liking things. Let's view a terminal. Just npm build it, ng build, see if it's working. cd dao.ai.breakpoint.web, ng build. Does it build? That is the first step success. I would imagine it does, but obviously it doesn't. So app component HTML. Login with an OAuth provider. Let's just OAuth provider. Okay, login equals OAuth provider.google. Assume things, bro. Come on, assume things. And then what? Wait, author. Yeah, I never set that. Never set it. Never set it. So it's not going to work. But that's okay. I figured it wouldn't work the first time. Because I'm expecting to get a redirect and then do a whole thing. It's just a whole thing. Okay, stop you. Stop you. Honestly, it's been a little eye-opening. Identity servers are difficult, right? This is not a piece of cake. And my Tailwind CSS is gone. Dang it, Bobby. So whatever. Sign in. Okay, redirect URL. Auth callback. And the return URL is empty. Access to HTML request at redirected from origin has been blocked by course policy. Hey! Hey, we did a thing! Hey, we did a thing! Redirect URI mismatch. I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. Redirected from API/auth/Google. Redirect URL. Because I'm sending it to the, instead of the front end. Okay, wait, if I set this to be, what is this, 3000 HTTPS? Do I have the Google client app open? And authorize redirect URLs. Ooh, because it's not the right one. So who is it trying to redirect at? Redirected from 3000 API auth Google. Copy link address. Throw you in my authorize thing. Save. Let's try that again. Ah, dang it. No access control. Origin header is present on the requested resources. Okay, well, we're making progress. We're making progress. We're moving up in the world. Because this is really close, right? Because now we just have a redirect URI. Like that in a jiffy. So I'll get this working. Make sure next time we can start diving into some different things. And I'll, we'll obviously review where I went wrong, and all the pitfalls. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Thanks for stopping by. And as always, happy coding.